Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and berries, we're back. What a weekend. So I'm here with my friend Steve. He's in the green room. I think he's getting dressed. He's got to put on the deodorant and all that stuff, powder his nose. He doesn't get that shine. I think it's his nose. I couldn't tell. So let's bring him out. Where is he? Steve.
Maybe it was my forehead.
Oh, there it was. What's in your nose? I still got my hair. It was my birthday yesterday, 65.
Yeah, good for you. Happy birthday, bro.
Did it. Another trip around the sun. I started. It's a revolution. I survived.
Good for you.
So did you see what we're talking about today?
Yeah, I saw that. So
yeah,
tell me your thoughts. What goes into preparation?
Well, I had some shows this weekend. You know, I was on my City of Fridley 49ers event, their festival. I was on the committee, so I helped with that. And then I did a couple shows for them. I did 2 on Friday night and 2 on Saturday night. You know, 1 for the kids, 1 for the adults, 1 for the kids, 1 for the adults. And my wife was with me, and she's been wanting me to go back into magic. And I says, you know, I just don't want to go into that grind again, because in their head, they think it's just the 30 minutes on the stage. You know, you go up there, you got your magic tricks, and you just do them, and you have a fun time. You look like you're having a great extroverted time, and everybody's laughing. And then the show's over, and they come up and they say, hey, great show. Well, that's what happened, but they don't understand all the other stuff beyond that 30 minutes. Before and after, you know?
You got that right.
So that's what I kind of wanted to talk about. And it'll be helpful to performers. I think it could be helpful to audience, spectators, yes, and maybe planners, and especially the people that are on the committee planning, that's not their expertise, but right, they're doing it. And maybe the stuff we communicate about as performers from a performer point of view. First off, people don't realize that they're not paying you by, per minute. They're not paying you for that 30 minutes. They're paying you for, I've been doing this since I was 4 years old. They're paying for the education and the time, kind of like a doctor. He goes in and does a 6-hour procedure and they pay him all that money. Look at all the time he put into educating himself how to use a scalpel.
That's one of the reasons why I tell people, they say, well, how much are you for an hour? And I said, I don't work by the hour. I work by an appearance. It costs you X number of dollars just to get me there. And once I'm there, I'm going to provide a show, and it may run an hour, but I've done this so many times. I've done it events, and it just never works that way. So aside from that, but you're right. They're not just paying for the time you're there. They're paying for all the preparation and experience.
But it's that dollar per hour mentality that people have. And just so the planners realize that we're professionals. So we do the show. We'll try and do about an hour or 40 minutes or half hour, whatever you expect us to do. But we know that if they're having a good time, maybe we can go that extra 45 minutes.
That's right.
If they're not, maybe we should cut it back to 30.
That's right.
And it's not about, you want to lock them in the room with you if they don't like you and they're not having a good time. They all got to go to the bathroom, or they're suffering from a lack of nicotine.
That's happened to me.
you got to feel the audience. That's why we're professionals. We've been there, done that. We know how to adjust that barometer,
I did a lodge once. They had about 50 people, with mom and dad and the kids. And as I'm starting the show, mom and dads, they all start walking back to the bar behind the wall in another room partition. They left me with the kids. That's it. So the kids, they had no barrier in their mind, so they started coming up on the stage. But once that started happening, I'm going, okay, I can see I've lost control here. I pull out a deck of cards. I hear, pick a card, pick a card, pick a card, pick a card. And then once I said, your card is the Queen of Hearts, King of Diamonds, Ace of Spades. I named them all off. That's the show. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, you're a high-paid.
I wasn't going to stay there and try to babysit those kids,
No. Yeah,
anyway, but let's talk about the preparation. There is an awful lot of work that goes into preparation to do what we do as magicians.
Well, there's the rehearsal is naturally.
That's not even
learning the tricks. Huh?
That's not even counting rehearsal. I can tell you the show I did 2 weeks ago, which was a 5-minute act. It was done to music. It was only 5 minutes long. It took me 15 minutes to set the show up. to put
Oh,
everything
that's the one with the wand and the scarf disappearing in the
in
bottle.
the cane and the bouquet
Yeah,
of
I
flowers and
saw
all that
that.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice
It
little
took me
project.
15 minutes to put that together. And every time I do a show, I have my suitcase right here and I have to do my preparation. So I set everything up the best I can in the suitcase before I go do the show. People have no idea that that's part of what I have to do. But that's not even counting me going through. I just got off the phone earlier this morning. I'm coaching a guy. He's trying to figure out what he's going to perform at this one event. So we're going through various concepts and ideas. He's going berserk trying to figure out what's going to work because it's in a bar and he's doing the intermission between a band and he's on the stage and it'd be a loud audience. So what's he going to do? What's he going to do that's going to hold their attention? He's going through his mind. He's spending an awful lot of time trying to gather his thoughts about what it is I'm going to do to be prepared for that.
And you need to be able to adjust to circumstances.
Yes, well, but that takes experience. Yeah,
and it's an experience where you've never experienced it before. You need to come up with some because every day is different. So the situation I had this weekend when I get there, what I understood was there's going to be a big tent where the bands are. Then they're going to have a small tent for the kids. So I thought, okay, that's the kids stage. So what it was there was a big tent, like a 40 by 80. And then there was a 10 by 10 pop-up.
That was the kids?
That's the kids.
That was the kids. Oh.
That's not going to work because here I am. It's the show's at 6 o'clock. The sun's about to set. So you got this tent up. I need to have some cover so I'm not blinded by the sun. And you don't want it turned around the other way so the kids are looking into the sun. But do you want the kids sitting out in the sun, burning up? So I said,
somebody wasn't thinking.
We're going to pick it up, move it under the tent by the grass. We set up right next to the band. The band wasn't playing. They were just setting their stuff up. They weren't making any noise. They were just plugging in stuff. And I did the kids right on the grass. They sat on the grass under the tent.
There you go.
It worked much better.
Improvise, yeah.
So you just got to be ready for that. So that's what the planners are paying for. They're paying because we know how to handle that stuff, maybe better than the committee does, because the committee is not really an event planner.
Very much so. I did a festival 2 weeks ago, and when I got there, they said, you're going to perform here. But everything else was 100 yards away, all the booths and all the people. I said, we have a problem here. And I can appreciate, but I said, I've been better off over there. And she goes, I agree. I said, well, the lady I talked to who booked me on this is what she wanted. So, it's people don't understand the demographics and the positioning you have to take to pull this off. And in fact, I just now put it in my agreement. When I make an agreement, I say, plan ahead where you want me to perform and where you want the people to sit. I need to have proper lighting and enough room to be able for people to enjoy it. And that includes a birthday party at someone's home. You'd be surprised.
Sound, right? And the sound, they got to be able to see it and hear
it. Yeah, right. Yeah. So people don't think ahead. They don't understand. And
then from the other point of view, from like my wife, Monica, she enjoys watching magic. She doesn't want to know how it works. But she was wondering why I was not real excited at 65 years old getting back into performing again. I says, you don't realize how much work it is. And she goes, well, it looks like you have a lot of fun. You're really good at it. And so she came to the show. And after the show, she says, you know what? Now I know what you're talking about. Because she saw all the stress possibilities. I said, yeah, you never know where you're working. She goes, yeah.
You were stressing?
You didn't have a stage or anything. And I says, well, there was actually an area, because I did a show once. It was an outdoor festival for Laura Ingalls Wilder. She's from the southern Minnesota area. It was a big festival for them. My stage was literally a tree trunk. They had cut off a tree, and there was a tree trunk. So it was like about a 5-foot circle. That was my stage. So you make it happen,
Wow. Another thing that people don't understand is your travel time.
Yeah.
I sometimes will have to travel by choice an hour and a half, maybe up to 2 hours to get to a show. And that's just one way. And so it takes me it'd take me 3 to 4 hours in driving my car to and from the show.
Sure.
And they're paying me for that time too. They're not just paying you for the time you're on stage.
Yeah, and you got to get there before to set up. And
Yeah, right.
fortunately, this festival was in my same city, so it's literally like a mile away, so I could get there in 5-10 minutes.
Oh, good.
So we had the luxury of coming over and kind of driving by and looking at what's going on. And when I got there, I saw, okay, there's this little tent. I don't know if that's going to work. And then I got to go back home and relax a little bit. And then I grabbed my stuff and then went over there and dealt with it. But you're right.
Good.
To travel, sometimes you don't have the luxury of doing a dry run. You know?
Well, I have friends who travel around the country doing shows.
Sure.
And they'll go to an airport, go through all that rigmarole of getting onto the plane, and then whether it flies or it gets canceled, whatever, then they fly, and then they got to get unload, and it's the amount of time and effort you put into the travel sometimes can be unbelievable. And so I basically by choice have limited mine because I don't really want to travel like that anymore. When I first moved to Florida, for the first 5 years, all my shows were outside the state because I had not worked in Florida to speak of. And so, but that slowly changed, over a period of time. Now all my workers are in Florida and very little, and they're going to have to pay me a fair amount if they're going to get me to leave the state now.
Sure. And then there's the mental aspect of all this stuff too, the stress that's actually there. Am I going to be able to set this up? Is the microphone going to work? Because if it doesn't work, I got to scream. I kind of lost my voice a little bit. And then the people, there's other they had another thing at all school reunion going on. So they had all the yearbooks laid out in the corner. So all the alumni people are there talking in the background. So I'm trying to entertain and they're talking. You can't really do nothing about that. But you start thinking, I hope they're enjoying this with all those people talking behind them. And I feel like it's on me, but it's not. But it's stressful. So
that's
then
true.
After the show, when I'm done, I'm tired. People don't realize that I'm exhausted with the energy and being around these people.
Well, now that you've done those 4 shows this weekend, you're going to have to pick and choose which ones you want to do from now on, right?
Yeah, well, I chose to do this one. And part of the reason I decided to do it, because it was my own city here. I wanted community support. And I wanted to get some video footage. So I brought on some video people to do some recording.
Good. Yeah. So if everything had gone perfectly, would you have enjoyed the 4 shows?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the situations where you just get on the stage and grab the microphone and the lights are there. There may be even a tech in the back that's running the stuff. So you're okay, but when you're sitting there, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me back in the back there? Because they're over there farting around with the little volume squelch thingy because they don't understand what they're doing.
Oh boy, I've been there.
But when I did the tour thing with Toby Travis, I did his opening act before he came on. It was easy. I was mic'd with a professional microphone.
Yeah, right.
I just walked out there. All of a sudden the spotlight hits. You do your thing. The music is queued up. They know exactly what they're doing. Because I had to function off of a little Bluetooth. I went and bought a Bluetooth speaker, and I put that in front of the microphone so I could do my 3-minute opener. That's not professional, but I did it because I knew they didn't have a tech. But I had to run it all from my phone, before I was introduced. And then another thing that we run into that's stressful is they say that they're going to have someone introduce you. And then here it is. It's like 3 minutes to 6. Where the hell is that guy? He's supposed to be around here somewhere. And they show up, get it done. So it's stressful. You want the show to be good, but it's okay.
I sometimes, if that happens to me, I'll just take the microphone, go over off the side of the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. I introduce myself. And here he is, the magician, Steve Hart.
Well, that's exactly what I did at the last show, because he wasn't there. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's about showtime, and showtime is prize time. Somebody's going to walk away with some valuable prizes. Now, what are these prizes, you may ask? Could it possibly be an all-expense paid trip for 2 to the tropical beaches of Hawaii? Not on your life. Is it dinner for two at Morton's Restaurant in downtown Minneapolis? I don't think so. Possibly it's a brand new 2023 Mercedes Benz convertible, windshield, wiper, blade, box, used, and it's empty, but it's yours. So that's what I did in the background before the show started. And now let's bring out.
I sometimes would say, ladies and gentlemen, you're ready for the magic show. You're going to be amazed by this. You're going to ask yourself, not how did he do it, but why did he do it?
Or he's worked coast to coast in a couple of other hardware stores.
Yeah, there you go. There's all kinds of things you can say. The main thing is the introduction is basically to get people focused on, that you coming on stage, and then
Yeah,
you've got
sometimes I'll play music and I'll slowly ramp it up so it's really, really loud, and then I'll bring it down, and all of a sudden people are going, "What's that? What's going on? Oh, the show's going to start."
Oh, there you go.
Little pattern interrupt once in a while.
Hey, that's great.
It actually works better than, "Hey, could you please be quiet for a second?" The show's going to start. Yeah.
So, yeah, preparation, it's just like anything. If you're going to fix a meal, you have to be prepared to fix it,
Mhm.
And so it's, or taking it.
You using the meal analogy, it's a little bit different because if you're doing the meal, they're throwing different ingredients in there. You think you're using eggs and flour and sugar for the cake, but then all of a sudden somebody throws in some salt, and so with an event, there's like one
I
band.
hear you.
One band I asked if I could use their microphone when they're done, but they said we got to go. We got another gig. We got to go. So what do? You got to kind of figure out what can you do to make this happen.
And the people who were sponsoring hadn't done that for you.
Yeah, because see, that's another thing too. When you're doing a big event like that, this committee had to worry about the petting zoo, the bouncy things for the kids, the laser tag, the back to the car show, the alumni thing, the beer tent, the wine tent, the
Right.
food booths, the electricity, because circuits were breaking. They got to worry about wind, and they got the vendors. So now it's a matter of priorities. What's more important?
That's right.
You're right. $3,500 fireworks that we got going on tonight, or the magic show?
Right.
They
Very good.
Prioritize that.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that. They think, "Hey, my show is the most important thing." No, what's more important is the guy that just had a heart attack and he's over there with the meds.
So as a performer, it's important that we keep that in mind too, because it's easy for us to do like you just said, to think, "Hey, it's my show. You've hired me to come here and perform. You should make way for me to be able to do this." And when you realize that they're not, first thing, they're not always professional, and they haven't got everything figured out of what in their priorities.
Yeah.
Even doing birthday parties, moms and dads, when I go in, they haven't thought it through.
Well, I did a birthday party once, I remember, and the situation was the kids didn't want to see the magic. They just weren't into the magic. But my job was to entertain the kids. So here I am with my tuxedo with tux and tails. I was wearing tails at that time. I kicked off my shoes, took off my socks, rolled up my pant legs, and played soccer with the kids. We had a great time.
Wow.
And the people, the company, it was a well-to-do, the Dayton's Corporation.
No.
You ever heard of Mark Dayton? He was a politician here.
No. I'm sorry.
There's a big store here called, well, you heard of Dayton Hudson. You heard of Target.
Yes.
They're tied in with all that stuff.
Okay.
So big money. So they didn't care. They didn't care that just as long as the kids had a good time, they didn't really need them to see a magic show.
Wow.
Sometimes you got to improvise and just make stuff work.
Yeah, that would be tough for me. That would be tough.
Playing soccer.
Yeah, playing soccer, but let alone just not doing my show.
I wasn't there to do the soccer. I was there to do the magic show. But the kids were just not. They didn't care. They just didn't. Just got to make stuff work, and the planner was fine with it. So as long as the planner's happy, everybody's happy, right? Well, cool. Is there anything else you want to say before we've gone for 20 minutes here? Hope that people got some valuable knowledge, nuggets of wisdom from a couple of veteran performers.
That's right. Ask the questions now. Believe it or not, my marketing thing is working very well. I've got 5 shows this week.
Woo,
Wow.
that's a
It's
good thing.
great.
That's,
Oh, it's very good. But but then again, when people call you, it's hard to turn them down. But I'm starting to get more picky about what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Because I'm 68 now, and I don't want to work as hard as I used to. I used to do that was nothing for me years ago.
Right.
And so anyway, but I'm very happy that I got to work, and especially right now because um, I'm not sure where the economy is going. So I'm going to
There you
use
go.
the money wisely.
Make hay while the sun shines, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay,
So
Steve, I'm going to pop you into the green room. We can have a little chitty chat after that. But thanks for your sharing your knowledge and wisdom, buddy.
sure, always.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
There, so much fun talking to somebody that understands where I'm coming from. I mean, when I was trying to explain this stuff to my wife, she didn't get it until she actually was in it. So it's nice to have some what would it be, empathy, someone that feels sorry for me. Okay, doke. That's it. That's what we were talking about. The 30-minute magic show and beyond. There's a lot more to it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, be nice. Be good.